All protocols observed. It's my joy, and I'm very happy to join you this morning. And I want to share my story, and I hope you have 1 or 2 pointers that you're going to use from today. As Manda said, and I want to also take this opportunity and really be grateful to Jacob's Ladder for the invitation, and also to Manda, because we went to school together. And then it's a joy when you get to see someone you sat in class with also doing great things. So be careful of your neighbor. You never know where you will be 5 years. There will be your business partner. There will be your supplier. There will be a director somewhere, and you are also working on your own initiative. And so you get to come together and share a lot of ideas. My name is Sarah Nyawira. I work as a program manager, climate action, for an organization that we shorten to KOICA. KOICA is Korea Cooperation Agency. We work with the government of Kenya to fund different projects. Currently, we have over 30 projects, and we work only with the ministry or the county government because our projects are government to government. So I want to share my story of how I got there, and because my time is limited, and there will be a Q&A after, I welcome you to ask all questions, because this is a once in a year opportunity, and I will be happy to share any tips that will help you get. And I hope by the end of this session, you will have made a decision that utajituma kabisa. And you may not be decided, because university is usually a very long time for students, but it's also very short because it's 4 years. So it's a time that you can make a decision that will impact your life positively, and it's a time that you can also make friendships and networks that will actually go beyond university. So I had a presentation, but because of the lighting, I hope you will be able to see, but I can also present without referring to it. And one of the key things that I would want us to start with is, do you know your passion? And I know that how many of you are in Bachelor of Sciences? Any science? Bachelor of Arts? Which other one? Engineering? Awesome. So we are a mix, and we are not defined to one course. So some of us, when we get to come to the undergraduate program, you come because you have passed and the government has given you an admission letter. Also, some of us come because we have people in the family who are pushing us or who are mentoring us to pursue that degree. Others come because of very, very many reasons. But I want to speak to you today and ask, do you know what you want to do, either at the present moment or in future? Do you have an idea? You may not be specific in what you want to do, but do you have an idea of what you want to do? And in what you want to do you know the skills that are needed in what you want to do? And do you know even who does what you would want to do? Do you know that? And all this is information that once you have an idea of what you want to do, maybe you want to end up in pharmaceutical field, you want to end up in biological field, you want to end up in business, what kind of business do you want to do? You want to end up in education, where exactly? So once you keep asking yourself this question, you may not have the ultimate answer, but it will guide you into being decisive and to pursuing the kind of decision and career that you want. And then after that, where do you find these skills that you want or that are needed in your field? And then what is your action? What do you do? So I went to the University of Nairobi and I studied biological sciences. That time, I remember when I went home and I said the course that I'm doing, everyone was shocked, because if you try to explain it in Kiswahili, ni kusomea wanyama na mimea. Is it not? Botany and zoology. So when you try to explain to someone that this is what I'm doing, they are really shocked. Even for me, I was quite surprised because the government had a part to play in it. I was young, so when I was admitted, I just took the course. But between doing the course and finishing the course, I was able to define my career path, and I was able to at least get to know this is what biology means in the professional world. Because as you may know, what you study in class might be a little different from what you are going to do at work, but it's very related, because then you cannot get a job or you cannot get into business without having completed your studies. So, and one of the key things, the next slide, please. And the other one. And during my campus days, in my second year, in my first year, I joined a lot of club activities, which many of you are already in different clubs. Each course usually have a different club, but these clubs were doing normal student activity. In my second year is when we started having ideas and interacting with students from different course units, and we started as the three of us. One was in biological studies and another one was in computer studies. And the person of computer studies had seen that you can actually organize a small workshop, even smaller than this one, and call your fellow students to teach them skills on how to do job applications, how to write a cover letter, how to pitch your idea to other people or to other organizations. And so we started doing it as a volunteer thing, as a small thing. We would get together students, 20 of them, 50 of them, and get to teach them. And then at some point, we started inviting speakers to come to class. During weekends, we would have like this auditorium, and then we would have 50 students. And at some point, the school started supporting us to print certificates so that every student who comes for that training over the weekend would get certificate. From there, we started, because now you develop your confidence, you develop your vision, we started looking for money. How can we organize a conference? And the first conference we organized was around climate change, and then another one on water. And during this organization, we got to pitch our ideas to our lecturers. We got to meet with a lot of organizations. And one of the key things that I still remember to date is when you're a student at this particular time, everyone welcomes you. If you walk into an office, someone will welcome you. The only thing that you should not have is expectation to be paid or expectation to get money, because all the offices or organizations, they operate on a budget, and so they may not be able to factor in your request at that moment. But the moment unajituma, unajipeleka kwao, you introduce yourself, you ask them questions related, what do you do? And already even our prof, even Waziri who was here, JLA, these are people who have their own stories. I wonder how many of you by the end of this day will have captured one of the person and asked them, I know that you are our dean of students, but where did you start in terms of your career? What is your story? And in this story, you get to learn a lot, and it's also get to motivate you and also spark an idea that you could implement in your life. And so this was me in undergraduate. During one of the conferences, we got someone to sit us down, and he talked about how we could develop a small proposal and we could get it to his organization, just like JLA has done here. They've already decided that they're going to fund the bamboo nursery, and then even the county, that was so easy. Even the county has already committed that they're going to buy those seedlings. So I look forward to so many of you taking advantage of that opportunity. So we did this project, and we got the funding. At that time, it was small money, but to us, because we were students, it was a lot of money, and we got a lot of support. Most of them were supporting us through words of encouragement, getting us the documentations that we needed, and it was just that every day we would ensure we walk into the principal's office, we talk to her, what would you like us to do, how would you like to see us do? And she would share her vision, and in that we were able to capture what can we do in our small way. So we did the research, and it helped me to get a fellowship in 2021. When I was doing the research that time, because it was on voluntary basis, I did not expect that it would help me 10 years to come, that it would help me to get the Mandela Washington Fellowship in 2021, but it was one of the foundation. When I was doing my application, I used most of the knowledge I got at that time to apply for the fellowship, and then the fellowship helped me now to advance in my career. And in another photo, I think it was before this one, this book I got in 2025. This was me when we were doing a volunteership. During one of the many conferences, I got to have an opportunity to volunteer at the National Museums. Ni mimi tu nilijituma. I just went there and asked them, can I be coming to your office for 2 hours, and you can show me what you do, you can share with what you do. And here in Taita Taveta, there are so many organizations, there are so many opportunities that you have, and I hope that from today you will interact with those people you see in business or employed, and request them, can you volunteer for 1 hour, can you volunteer for 2 hours? And most of the time, I even never considered fair, because I used to work, and then it would be probably in the afternoon where there's no class, and we used to collect data, and they taught me a lot of lab work. But the interesting thing is, when the book was being published last year, I was surprised to find that I am in the book. So when I was volunteering for my own advancement. I was not volunteering to be in a book. But then you see the fruit came much later, when we had already even closed the project, and it will help me advance in my career. And so my humble request is, from this day forward, please look for many chances where you can go and introduce yourself, even here with your lecturers, with the county government. Request them, what do they do, what kind of projects are they in, what opportunities do they see, and then ujitume to ensure that how can you even get funding to do a small project, how can you get funding to do a small workshop, invite them as your speaker, and then you will get, from there you will get to advance a lot. Then another thing that will really help you is to identify a mentor. Identifying a mentor is not a perfect person. A mentor is not someone that you checklist 100% of the things that you want to do in life. A mentor is just someone who will help you to move from one level to another, from your idea to implementation. And then from implementation, you will also get to meet a lot other people who are doing the same thing, and then you will get to come together and do the same. And interact beyond your course. When you are here for 4 years, you will get to interact with so many other courses: engineering, mathematics, biology, chemistry, name all of them. There are more than 10. Please do not leave here having only known your classmates. Why? Because currently in green economy, you find that every job is a combination of 2 or 3 opportunities, and we don't have a chance to do 3 degrees at the same time, but you have a chance to interact with your fellow student in engineering and get to ask them, what are you doing in engineering? And this is what I'm doing in biology. And in that conversation, you can get to see a mix of ideas that will give you either a business idea or will give you a chance to pursue a completely different career path, not only for biology. And I know that the people we finished school with, most of them who were active na walikuwa wanajituma have been able to combine 2 or 3, either biology and sales and marketing, and you find that someone is able to pursue a career in medical or pharmaceutical sales. Then you find another person has been able to do some certificates that can be done online even by you. They are free, they can be done online. And then every major organization, especially in Kenya, UN agencies, they usually have free courses. They are called massive online courses. So if you go online today, like UNDP, you type UNDP on Google plus free courses or free online courses, there will be a list of courses that come up. Please do those courses and get the certificate. If you want to do environmental law and you're already doing an environmental course, you just need to go online and find for a free certificate of environmental law, and you'll be able to do it so that by the end of 4 years, you not only have your degree certificate, but you also have another certificate that will help you when you're submitting your application or when you're doing your business pitch. So, and then when you interact beyond your course, you get to learn. In this era, everyone is talking about AI, but have you pursued and checked, how can I apply AI in my current studies, or how can I apply AI to get me a job? AI is not only for doing assignments or checking news or doing what is required in class, but ask yourself, how are architecture students applying AI, and how is this applicable in school? How are communication students going to apply AI into their work, and this will be applicable in their office, so that this will give you a chance to mix your career option. Not only will you be focused on one course or one degree, but you will be able to do everything. And then something that will also help you at the end of the 4 years, I know most of us give up after 1 or 2, but please start doing this before you even get to 4th year, if you're not yet there, is to apply for fellowships, apply for jobs that you see. Why? Because this will help you to sharpen your skills in making an application. When you're at 4th year and someone tells you to write a short brief on this particular topic on minerals, critical minerals, then you will have already done it. Even though you did not get the job, you will already have had the experience to do the application, and it will be easy for you, because it will be really stressful when you have graduated and then someone is asking you, are you able to write a letter in the current workplace, and you do not have the experience. So when you apply for this fellowship, when you apply for scholarships, when you apply, I know it's tiring to apply for 2 or 3 and be rejected, but do not see the rejection only, see that you're also gaining experience. And also organizations like my organization, KOICA, and other countries which are located in Kenya, like Japan, they have scholarships for students for masters, and because they are competitive, you need to have done 1 or 2 applications to just see what happens, how is this interview conducted. So at this particular time when you're doing your studies, you have a good opportunity to try, because you're already doing your studies, you're not expected to leave school, but you will have an opportunity to try and see how it goes, so that by the time now you need it, you are totally ready. So in the green economy, it's basically every degree that needs to be green. That's what I usually say. Green economy is not defined to biology or environmental science or conservation science. It's actually now linked to every other subject. We are doing green buildings. We are building roads in a way that we can ensure we use the materials we have sustainably. Water engineers, we are asking, how do we sustainably use the water that we already have? And one of the key things, as you see around, as when we arrived here in Taita, I can tell it's already a semi-arid, arid area, but you also have rains. So how can we maximize that time that we get the rain to ensure that we have water for the whole year. And these are the ideas that we are looking forward to getting from you. Either you come with it as a business idea, or you start pursuing such careers that consider innovative ideas that actually help you. You look around, you see a problem, and you start asking yourself, how can I use the knowledge and the time that I have to have a solution? And once you start working on it in university, then by the time you are completing your studies, your ideas will have grown a little bit better so that you are able to pitch it in a workplace. And one of the key things when it comes to green economy is food security. This is something that has been discussed over and over again, and at the same time, it has the most job opportunities, because in food security there is processing, there is value addition, there is also farming. So when we say, or when we talk about food security, it's not only about farming, but it's also about so many other processes that you can get involved in. If you're an agriculture student, have you ever gone out there to the farmers and asked them, what kind of technologies are you using? I am reading about this. Have you considered using this technology? Because as an agriculture extension officer, have you considered sharing the knowledge practically to also see and experience how these farmers will take this knowledge so that you keep improving? And then for other enterprises, so I tried to get a list. There are so many ideas, I was even shocked. One has already been funded. It's about community nurseries of quality tree seedlings. The government has already committed to planting 15 billion trees. Where are those seedlings going to come from? Can you create, also, can you ensure umejituma kwa hiyo opportunity and be in the mix so that you see what can you contribute to those? There is green infrastructure consultancy, there is environmental communication and media. There's also creation of home irrigation schemes, as well as equipment that use renewable energy. And also, these are the same ideas. They can not only give you a business idea, but you will be able to see them as job opportunities, even in the current workplace. Because at the moment, manufacturers are looking for people who will be able to audit their energy use, their water use, so that it can be reduced, it can be sustainable, and they can save on cost, and at the same time reduce carbon emissions. So for this, you need to focus on your studies and as well focus on what is happening in the market, because a green career is as many as you make it to be. If you're doing Bachelor of Arts, you can decide to focus on one section only, and that will give you a definite path for a green career. And then even from our president, as you know, he did biological sciences, so you can decide to focus on any area. You can be an environmental chemist, you can be a pollution control analyst, renewable energy technician. You can do an audit of Taita Taveta University and see, are you using renewable energy efficiently? Are you using water resources that you have efficiently? What are the recommendations that you can give? And then you can share with one of the professors, and they will be able to guide you when you are doing an audit report. This is what you look at, this is what you focus on, and probably from that report you will be able to launch a proposal and get funding to do 1 or 2 projects here. So I encourage you to start now and start today. Volunteer, ensure that by the end of today, you have known at least 1 or 2 people of JLA. What are they doing? What is their story? Make sure that you take advantage of the funding that has been given here. Get to know what is the county doing, what are their opportunities there. Get to know what research is your lecturer working on. Have a friendship with them. Look for a mentor, someone who will help you even for the next 3 months, move your idea to paper, or your idea on paper to something that can look for funding. Also, seek mentorship either here at the university or outside, and ensure that you keep learning. By applying, even though you are told no, don't look at it as a no, but look at it as an opportunity to learn how to make commendable applications. And that's the end. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Do not go away. Please take your seat here as my two strong men will come and carry this podium for me. We want to get into a question and answer session, and this is an opportunity for all of you here to take advantage of this mentor, let me call her a green career mentor, and ask the many questions that you may have that will help you get some direction around what your future should look like. And I will, because I have the mic, I think I'll ask my questions first. You talked about knowing what to do, right? Figuring out what it is you want to do. But the reality is many of us in campus are doing courses either because we stumbled upon them or because our parents told us to do them. And in fact, we're not even sure about what we want to do. Because I know you did a BSc in biology, right? I know you're not doing BSc biology now. So, what was your journey of discovering that you do not want to do BSc biology? And does that mean what you studied keeps you, or you're stuck, or there's an opportunity to make a switch? When did you realize you didn't want to do BSc biology, and how did you make that switch?
Okay, that's a good question. I think I will answer it from a life story. I was, as I have mentioned, I was volunteering at the National Museums of Kenya. They have a whole laboratory. So they allowed me to be walking in for 1 or 2 hours under internship, but I was still in school, and I persisted. And during one of those moments, we had worked for long, and I would see what they are working on. They would explain what they're doing. They would explain even the relevance of their work. And it's during this time that I realized I'm not really gifted in lab work. And so I asked the same people, if someone is not gifted in lab work, because at the lab you spend time from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and I had already done that and realized that this one, I am not good at it. At some point, I may not consider this as a long-term career, and I know there are other people who considered it as a long-term career. So I asked the same people, if you did not work in this lab, where else would you look for a job? What else would you do? And you will be shocked by how many opportunities exist outside of what you know. And so from sharing that story, I realized that in my applications, I would not make applications to work in the lab because I would not excel in that. But then with their guidance, they were able to show me other opportunities. And I was sharing with Manda that my first job was in in a law firm, and we were doing tax returns. And I got there because I had already experienced what I wouldn't want to work. And so I was focused. I knew the next step would be to look for a job that I can combine biology and administration so that I can eventually end up in project management.
Wow, fantastic, Sarah. You also talk about your time in campus, and I think it's important to really realize that we all have the same 24 hours. And what you do with your time is so important. I mean, we were in campus together. I didn't know what you were doing after school. Kumbe you are going to volunteer. You are going to work. You are going ulikuwa unajituma. Wengine Netflix and chill, you know. So, and then there's this thing that young people say, I don't know, I hear, you know, because I'm not in the bracket of Gen Z. But apparently, exposure doesn't pay bills. You can't tell me to volunteer my time and I get 0 bob. What would you say to that around the time that as young people they have, and what time can be as a resource, and the importance of kujituma and being exposed with no money?
Wow, actually that's a reality. exposure without money, volunteering without being given something, working without being motivated, day-to-day things that you find you have to ask yourself questions. But for me, in campus, when you are doing your schoolwork, you will have food, you will probably do activities around campus that do not need fare or do not need money. Even when you do Netflix and chill, in the evening you will still need to eat. Somehow, it's about deciding, do I invest now in my future or do the same things that I should have done now after school? So it's about combination, that you can replace Netflix and chill and say, let me just sacrifice a little bit and invest in myself so that after school, I don't have to start knowing jobs inapatikana wapi. By the way, mi nilifanya e-course mnaendanga ku-apply jobs wapi, and who has done this course, who is who. Those things you don't need to wait until you finish campus. You can know them now so that at least by the time you're finishing, you're 2 steps ahead. By the time you're finishing, you already know, by the way, organization needs this and this particular person. I remember when I volunteered at the National Museums, I would also volunteer to do tea for interviews, people who are coming for interviews. And during that time, I even got to see, so this is why the government takes so long to call you after an interview, because you would find that people have applied for a job, wamepigiwa simu wameambiwa come for interview, and then the director has gone on leave, and then by the time the director is coming, the deputy director has gone on leave. So it's like 2 months, and someone is at home waiting to be called for a job. So once you get to know what really goes on in the office, then you are able to see chances zangu ni hizi. It's better you do exposure now without payment, so that now by the time you have finished and you have your certificate, you can say, I already did my time for exposure without payment. Now I'm not doing exposure without payment. I now have my certificate. I did 3 years of volunteering when I was a student. I now cannot do volunteering without payment. Unlike when you have 0 years of exposure, and you are asking for payment, it will take a longer time for you to get into that sector, rather than when you already come in with something and saying, I have 2 years of exposure, I can do this and this skill, I just now need to do this for you, but you will have to pay me. I mean, you will have a better leverage.
Great. You've talked about your first job being in a law firm, and that looks very left field. In fact, it's very far from someone's dream job. So it's clear that your first job may not necessarily look like anything close to your dream job. But I'm assuming now, I don't know if it is your dream job, but if you are comfortable where you're working now, tell us what you do at Koika. What is Koika? What you do there? And most importantly, how did you get there? Did you have a godfather? Did you know somebody who knows somebody who paid for you to enter that place? Or was it purely on merit? Because sometimes young people say, you need to know someone. Sindio? Wanasema lazima ujue mtu. Serikali ama in a position for you to get a job. So tell us what your journey was into entering Koika and what you do there.
Let me start with, when I was volunteering at museum, I think I will refer to this very many times. I applied for a job there, and they helped me to do the application, but I was given a rejection letter. Like, I didn't even qualify for the interview.
Wait, at the museum?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm the one who is even welcoming people coming for interview. I have applied, but mimi nilipata a rejection letter. And it taught me one thing, that even you can know someone and still the policy of that organization, kama imesema we need this and this particular person for maybe this skill, you will not get the job. So knowing someone does not automatically mean that you will get the job. And knowing someone might also give you a job that will not ensure that you creatively use your skills. So be open. Don't rely, even if you know someone, don't rely on them so much. Wewe jitume to create your own. So for Koika, because I have worked in other sectors, I've worked also in blue economy. Blue economy is the ocean. How do we use our fisheries for food security, for job creation? That one I applied, I did the interviews and got it. But for Koika, it's a hiring person who was looking for people with the qualifications they wanted. They called some of us, I think we were 10, and then we were asked to come for interview, and if we would be interested to take the job, then you take it. If you look at me from the point of Koika, you would feel life is easy, but then you have to look at my story and where I am coming from to understand the point at which you get to Koika. So in Koika, I'm in charge of different projects. We work across Kenya, Madagascar, Somalia, Comoros, and Kenya. So we have different projects on water, sanitation, and climate action. And we also have other sectors which are health and education. And we work with main hospitals to put infrastructure there. We work with TVET centers to upscale their capacities. And for water and climate action, because that's where I am, we work in different counties across Kenya. We've not had an opportunity to work in Taita Taveta, so hopefully in the next 5 years we will have the budget to come into Taita Taveta. And our projects involve the ministry or the UN agency where we work with different people, especially women and youth, to do different climate actions. We also, in Turkana, because of the situation there, it's arid, we work to drill boreholes and then set the community to be able to use this borehole for their livestock and domestic consumption. Yes.
Great. So, in short, you did not have to know a Korean.
No.
Somewhere or learn Korean to get the job. And it's
No.
the Korean International Cooperation Agency?
Cooperation Agency, yes.
Yes. Is it a government organization from Korea that is based that works in Kenya, or does it have any affiliation with the Korean government?
Our organization is entirely funded by the government of Korea. In the development sector, and especially the green economy, we have what we call overseas development aid. This is where government works with government. The government of Korea works with government of Kenya to implement different activities at national level. And so Koika is a representation of that. Okay. So South Korea gives money to Kenya through Koika. Yes.
Got it. Okay. So you're literally a development partner in terms of funding, and you bring funding from Korea into Kenya, yes. And you are part of the programs. You are in charge of distributing this money in different
yes.
projects.
Yes.
Great.
Totally.
I think that's it from me, and I'd like for us to move the questions to the audience. I'd like to take 3 questions.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm Mr. Gideon Rono, pursuing Bachelor of Education Science in Maths and Physics combination for TIA. My question to Madam Boss of Koika, I want to ask, when you were in campus, you said that you participated in maybe volunteering to projects, to activities in various organizations. I want to ask, how could you tackle this thing? Because sometimes maybe we love to do something, or we may be having a passion of doing something. But in our campus, remember that many of us, we come from different backgrounds. Many of us, maybe our financial backgrounds is all low. Many of us, like, you find that many of us, maybe you have to fight for your own so that you survive in campus. I think you know that. But you remember that you have to go to volunteer for something that you are not going to earn anything. And at the same time, you want to look for something that you are going to eat as a comrade. Unajua usipokula kama comrade ni mambo ingine ngumu sana. So like, labda mimi naona labda wewe labda saa zingine maybe your parents were good in providing for you, haunge luck. That's why ulikuwa unapata time nzuri ya kuenda kufanya volunteer. Juu kuenda volunteer saa zingine like kuenda because like going for a volunteer, like it takes time. Labda kuna volunteer activity, for example, from morning mpaka jioni. Na wewe huna chochote kwa mfuko, hauna chochote kwa nyumba. You have to struggle, uende kwa mchengo, usurvive, utafute kitu ukule. At the end of the day, bado unahitaji kusoma, unaona? So like I feel like how could you, or how can we go through this thing, because like we are different. Kuna mtu mwenye ametoka kwa matajiri, anaprovidiwa kila kitu, so anapata hiyo time ya kuenda juu, anaweza jinunulia hata lunch huko madukani, hakule.
Sawa.
Like, yeah.
Tumekusikia. Okay, so we'll take 2 more questions.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Nganga, a BBIT student. I wanted to ask if you can, those volunteers that you are going on to, do you add them on your work experience? And if your organization, do you offer internships for people? Yeah.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We've got your question.
Hello, I'm Alice Ogutu, a student teacher of English literature, 3rd year student at Taita Taveta University. My question is, at what time did you realize that it's high time for you to start going for the volunteers and writing the job applications? The second question, what would you advise me as a student teacher of English language and literature, so that I don't only depend on the course that I'm doing, so that I'll be able to venture into more business careers or green entrepreneurship careers? Thank you.
Thank you. Those are good questions. Sarah, over to you.
Let me start with the first one. So atapata time wapi kwenda mjengo for food and also to study and to volunteer. For me, the reason I started volunteering was because I knew I don't have a backup plan. Like, if I don't take care of me, I don't have an opportunity to go back and tell my parents, nisaidieni. I mean, that was out completely. So what I would advise you is, even in the mjengo, like apartments that are coming up, kuna kuanga na urban planner. There is a county person who was involved even before. Then there is someone who comes to supervise. Have you ever had a chance to talk to them? Have you ever had a chance to ask them, how did you even end up here? Because we went to the same, I'm sure you'll be surprised that you went to the same campus. They're already a supervisor, but do you know their story? What I want to encourage you is to use the critical skills you're getting from your degree to push your agenda forward. That sahi niko mjengo, but in the next 4 years sitakuwa mjengo. I mean, I hope that is your plan. So ask that one person mwenye mna meet kwa mjengo, when you call yourself county license, the person who licensed for building, what does it mean? You know, as a person in a career, what does it mean? When you meet your supervisor, I'm sure the supervisor have a supervisor, and all these people, for them to get that job, they applied using their degree certificate. So get to know them, get to ask them what really led you to this point, so that hata kama uko mjengo saa hiyo unabeba cement, you don't stop focusing on your goal. Don't stop focusing on where you will be in 2 years, because I'm sure you don't want to be there in 2 years. You only go there for a short time. Ensure that you learn very fast and differentiate also from people who will be Mjengo for 5 years, someone who will be in Mjengo for 3 years. And volunteering does not mean you go there the whole day. It can mean you volunteer to, these days, even retweet, even share. Like when you knew JLA was coming here, did you reach out to them on social media and tell them, I have this Twitter, I have this Facebook account, I am going to mobilize my fellow students to come, and that way you get to meet Manda, who is in communication, and then she will become your mentor, or she will tell you, this is how to write a brief. These are, knowing your story, you know you have 1 hour. So in that 1 hour, what can you do to contribute to your long-term vision, to contribute to your long-term plan? Because Mjengo see long-term. I would expect, if you have come to TTU, I expect that you are planning to contribute to this country much more, much more than manual work. I would want you to contribute in terms of skills, in terms of your creativity, in terms of your experience. And so even as now maisha ikikufinyilia that uko kwa Mjengo, ensure you don't forget your long-term focus, that niko Mjengo, yes, this is for food, but what am I doing for my career? Niko shule, yes, this is for certificate, but then what am I doing in terms of work? In that Mjengo, I'm sure many county people come. I'm sure even that Mjengo may be belonging to wildlife and culture director. Have you ever wanted to know who is this person? Ulisomea nini? He was regional director for Standard Chartered. You would be shocked at the things that unamwona tu hapo kwa Mjengo, but this person has a whole career behind them, and get to know their story. Usijue tu ati yeye ni director wa wildlife. Yeah. Ask them, ulienda shule wapi, ulisoma nini, what motivated you to be here, and that way, then you will be able to remember your long-term dream.
Okay, let's keep it
I'm
short
taking,
with the answers.
yeah.
We're out of time.
For work experience, yes, you get to add to the CV any volunteer experience, even if you organized a one-day workshop. When you are at entry level, usually in the interview, people ask for that. So it's not only internship, it's not only attachment, it's also what you, even if you are a student leader of a club in school, we want to see what did you do as a student leader. So I worked with the county government and did a caravan like JLA and organized 50 students, and we presented on this and they got certificate, and that will be perfect work experience for you. So I already answered on what time to volunteer. It will depend with your classes, and 1 hour is enough. These days there is social media. You can do things online. You don't have to be physically there. So after maybe class, after Mjengo, you can do a 1 hour. You write something, you send to someone. If you're in English and literature, you ask yourself, what else can I do? Do I like maybe interior decor? Do I like communication? Do I like extension, like educating people? So once you ask yourself, if I'm to educate people, what can I do? Should I write articles for newspaper? Where do I even start? So you start following that path until you get a breakthrough. If it's interior decor, whom do you know does architecture, and you ask them, how can I contribute? You also go online and you just Google and see what other courses can I combine, or what other certificates can you do that are online. That will be perfect. And when you're reading through that list, I'm sure something will get to click and you can do it, and yes, you will get a breakthrough.
Oh, that's it? Yes. Okay, great. I think for me, the last thing before we close is where there's a will, there's a way. If you are determined that you see yourself bigger or going further or achieving more, what you're doing right now should not just be the end. It should be in that particular thing that you're doing, Mjengo, for example, like Sarah said, see how this can lead to the next step for you. And you'd be surprised how much time we have and how much time we waste. You can still do Mjengo, still come to school, and still volunteer. But it has to be that you're driven enough to want to make it work and find the opportunities to do so. Sarah, thank you so much for your time. One opportunity that I'd like to open up to you, and this is now where you decide if you'll seize that opportunity or not. At Jacobs Zada Africa, we have a platform called Elevate. Elevate is a green skilling platform because we realize that the university degree or the courses you're studying in university may not necessarily match the green economy, the skills that are required, what the private sector needs when it comes to green jobs and green skills. This platform is going to help you to upskill yourself from the comfort of your laptop or your mobile phone. As long as you're connected to the internet, you can sign up to the Elevate platform. The QR code is on the screen. Also, you can see certain posters on the wall. There's a QR code there. Take out your phones if you're serious about setting yourself up to opportunities in the future. Scan that QR code and register for Elevate platform. We will be checking in the back end to see how many have registered, and we have amazing giveaways in store for today. But more so, you should not do it for the giveaways, do it for yourself. If you join Elevate right now, you can actually start taking a course that is available, a common course that will help you gain knowledge and set you up for your future. So join Elevate, scan the QR code, and start taking the courses. We will be doing a lot more on that platform. We will be taking young people into cohorts for those who are interested in e-mobility, sustainable agriculture, the different sectors. We will give you the skills. We will connect you to internships. We will place you in jobs. So make sure you stay connected so that you do not miss those opportunities by being part of the Elevate platform. Sawa sawa? How many of us are convinced to join the Elevate platform? By a show of hands. Hey, at least this time I have hands. Thank you. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Sarah. Thank you so much. I know we've learned so much from you.